Hello everybody, Jim Fleeler, Vice President of Sales for Charlotte Products. Thanks for joining us again today. Probably going to spend about 12 or so minutes on continuing our education transfer. Today's topic being how to use disinfectants, and in particular the 5 critical elements of disinfectant security. And we're going to talk about delivery methods as well. So the big question is, I guess, why focus? So if I'm a facility or decision maker, why should I focus on these 5 critical elements? What are they? And then what is the best delivery method for me? So there's some good questions here. So obviously what we were doing before COVID was not working. What we're doing mid and post-COVID, and depending on what your mindset is, whether we are still mid or we're post or it's long gone or whatever, it's working better, but we still have a long ways to go. Our goal is to prevent the risk of cross-contamination in a virus or actually a variant and whatever. We need to improve employee wellness. So if you just had one reason why, that's really has risen to the top. We want to raise our cleanliness level to protect public health. We want to make sure that facilities don't go back to the way we cleaned before COVID-19. It's very well stated and understood that employees and the general public, occupants of buildings, want clean, safe facilities. They don't want to touch anything in washroom facilities and public facilities anymore if they can help that. And we really need to regain the trust of the public and workers and occupants of our building in the custodial industry there. And really what we also have to focus on is constant improvement and constant innovation. So some good questions as to why this is an important topic, okay? So we did cover this in one of our previous sessions, but there is a proper process when you're disinfecting and sanitizing. And step 1 is to always pre-clean the surface. It doesn't necessarily have to be a disinfectant unless infection control officers in a facility mandate that, okay? But the use of a good quality cleaner that's matched to your particular soil load of your facility is really the first step. The second step, choosing the correct disinfectant or sanitizer based on the kill claims, again, from infection control officers. They'll dictate that, or the Department of Public Health. Diluting it properly, making sure you respect the dwell time, wiping the surfaces and rinsing all food contact areas if with potable water if you're around teething children, mouthing children, food prep restaurants and things like that. So, and then when it comes to, and that's your everyday, line of defense. When you do have an outbreak, there is a little bit of a step in a rise where you would select a higher level disinfectant based on the current virus or form of bacteria or the threat at the time, okay? And make sure then you revisit your training protocol and your process cleaning through your facility and you're all set. So this is really what you need to follow, okay? We did also cover that there is 3 levels of disinfectants, and I want to revisit that again quickly. There's a low-level disinfectant, which is really for non-critical items, and then there's an intermediate level, which is really for non-critical and some critical items. And in that, I'll give you an example. An education facility would be what I would say an intermediate level choice would be. And then there's a high level. So if you're in the emergency room, the operating room, food processing areas, and things like that, you need a level 3. If I'm a regular facility, okay, that has very low risk and I'm not doing critical items and things like that, I am not going to pick level 3, although the label claims may draw me to that and may think that, well, then I'm covered. If you don't have the risk there, then don't do that, okay, because it's not in your best interest, okay? Some well-documented facts surrounding disinfectant solution. The overuse and incorrect application of disinfectants is a failure. In fact, we've gained since when COVID was here. We've actually increased, but still today it's really discussed that about 90% of us are not using disinfectants properly, okay? That's a failure, as a matter of fact, so it's well documented, right? The creation of anti-resistant bacteria and immunities in our community, whether it's short-term or long-term, is a serious issue. And what that basically means is public health organizations, we all have to explore what happens when the disinfectants we're using today no longer respond. Okay, we're in direct control of that. If we continue to use high-level disinfectants when we don't have the need to do that, and we create immunities with bacteria and viruses and things, and we can no longer be effective against protection, we're in serious trouble. And that is your takeaway for this particular slide. Disinfectants are more aggressive. They require more attention to detail with personal protection equipment. There are possible side effects such as residual buildup if you're leaving it on toilet seats or hand contact areas, or you're spraying aggressive chemistry on carpeting and aluminum and tiled floors and polymer coating floors. You'll get damage there. Then you've got contact with skin, eyes, and respiratory systems, which are a health risk, right? You know, the disposal, the flushing, the treatment. Once you flush that down the drain, it just doesn't magically go away. It needs to be treated in the sewage systems, and if not, in some places, septic tanks and things, but it can go directly into lakes, streams, rivers, you know, and it goes into there, and then you've got livestock drinking from that water source and things, and you can see how it can actually just continuously spread, okay? That selection of proper disinfectant, you know, that addresses the stated pathogens to your facility is paramount, right? Again, if you don't need a C. difficile claim, if you don't need a norovirus claim, don't think that you have to do that. Okay, the process of pre-cleaning and using the right disinfectant is far more critical than just thinking you may have that risk one day. Okay, you know, so don't do that. That's our recommendation. So well-documented facts without question. Seriously think about this. Use your distribution partner. Rely on Enviro Solutions, Charlotte Products to actually select you and our regional sales managers to help you with that. Okay, our long-standing disinfection message has been this, and it's been for years and years, by the way. We just didn't dream this up yesterday, but our message has been to safely remove organic matter and then sparingly, carefully, and thoughtfully apply disinfectants and sanitizers to those higher risk, high contact points. Okay, what's your return on investment when you follow that program? Lower risk of cross-contamination, improved employee wellness, lower dollar spend, cleaner surfaces, sustainability benefits, and lowering the risk of creation of that anti-resistant bacteria. That alone is the reasons why you should do that. The 5 critical elements of disinfectant security: always use a registered product. Make sure it's registered with your local Department of Public Health, right? Understand what the label says. Dilute it properly regardless of the dilution method. So it doesn't matter what you're doing. If it says 1:64, mix it 1:64. More is not better. Always pre-clean surfaces. Always respect the dwell time. If the label says 60 seconds or 5 minutes or 10 minutes or anything different, and make sure you follow that, because if you're not following that, you fail. Okay, and remember, every single label is different. So if you had a reason to read a label alone, it's based off the dwell time alone. Okay, and then potable water rinses on food contact surfaces. If you follow those 5 steps, you pass. Okay, if you skip any one of them, you actually fail. Okay, so let's talk now about delivery methods. Since COVID, we've had all kinds of technologies like foggers and misters and electrostatic sprayers and things like that. We've brought charge buckets into the industry, double cavity buckets into the industry, pump up sprayers and all those things. And they're there to really make your labor side more efficient and make sure you can cover you know, a lot of other surfaces in a building or a facility because you have to clean more. It's very well known you have to clean better when you actually have a threat of a virus or something there. So regardless of the method, you still have to follow the exact label instructions, okay? Without doubt, you have to. So just if you grab an electrostatic sprayer, you grab a pump-up sprayer, and you don't follow those 5 critical elements, you're actually failing, okay? There are foggers and misters, okay? They do talk, some of the instructions talk about a micron size. Some of them even go to a further step, which is false, where they'll tell you, you know, well, you use a general disinfectant and you've got 40 to 50 or 40 to 45 microns. It should tell you that, well, you should be about a 4-minute dwell time. That is false. Whatever the label says is what you need to follow, right? So it's very difficult to know. If you're spreading a sprayer, and I mean, I'm going faster than you, or you're going faster than me, I mean, you're going to have less product on the actual surface. And in fact, the drier it is, the faster it's going to dry. Or sorry, the less product on there, the faster it's going to dry. So basically, what does that mean? You're not actually achieving your dwell time. Okay, electrostatic sprayers. Most instructions just tell you to go in and spray. In fact, I'll show you right here now. This is a Victory sprayer, very good sprayer as a matter of fact, and this is in no way a reflection of the brand because there's lots of them on the market, but why you use this is for the speed, for labor savings, to go through facilities and make sure you're cleaning and disinfecting those areas. But if you go through the area and you just basically do this, because that's what happens, okay? So if I do any particular surface with that, if I go through and do that, I'm failing. If I go through and pre-clean, and then I respect the dwell time, and then I actually do a potable water rinse if it's needed there, then I pass. But this is a delivery mechanism, a very good one, but it has to be used properly. The same with a pump-up sprayer. If I go in and just spray surfaces and don't follow the 5 critical elements, then I'm actually failing. So I just wanted to sort of take a minute and show you that. Okay? There is the 5 critical elements just as a reminder there. Okay, another delivery method is a drone. They're great. Okay, but if you can't pre-clean from 1,000 feet in the air or 1,000 meters, you're failing. You just can't spray a disinfectant in a stadium or whatever it may be and think that you're actually causing a lot of issues there. You're not solving any. So it's there for speed, but make sure you follow the label instructions. There's our famous one, our Enviro Solutions pump-up sprayer. Very inexpensive, works very well. If you don't have these in your custodial janitorial closet, you need them. It's very inexpensive. Who wants to use a trigger sprayer anymore? Just from labor, employee wellness alone, this is something that you need to do. And it actually puts a little more product on the surface, which gives you some forgiveness, with respecting dwell time. Okay, so a couple of resources that we have available, and this is ongoing. It's just not all about these sessions here, but our charlotteproducts.com library is full of information for each and every one of you, regardless of your type of facility. So if you want a brochure on breaking the chain of infection, or if you want to know how to measure the parts per million of a disinfectant. If you want to know how do I choose the right level of disinfectant, okay? If I want to know how to choose the right disinfectant for my facility, if I want to choose or sort of revisit the 5 critical elements of disinfection, it doesn't matter. All of this information is here for you. At Charlotte, we take severe pride in our education and knowledge transfer. Thanks for joining us today. Stay safe. We'll talk soon.